You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and I hope wherever you are in the world and whatever you are doing very well. You're about to listen to my conversation with Colin Frangicetto, who is the guitarist in a band called Circa Survive. They are touring Australia through May of 2018, and I'll read out some dates. Thursday the 24th, they're playing at Adelaide, in Adelaide at the Gov, I should say. Friday the 25th, they're playing Melbourne at the Corner Hotel. Saturday the 26th, they are playing Sydney at the Factory Theatre. Monday the 28th, they're playing Brisbane at the Zoo. And finally, Wednesday the 30th, they are playing the Rosemount Hotel in Perth. Let's not delay. Let's get stuck into the chat with Colin. So, Colin, I want to welcome you to the show. Before we talk about the Australian tour, can you give us some background on the album released last year? The album's called The Amulet.
Yeah, it is our sixth studio record. We put out a few EPs, but it's our sixth boy, and we basically see here what else is good general info. It's probably our best record. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you other than we put a lot into it, and it felt like just as fresh as the first record we made. So I don't know. I think it's a good representation of who we are as a band right now.
Yeah, mate, it's got a cracker of an album cover. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's a guy named Esau Andrews. He's a fantastic painter based out of Los Angeles. He's originally from Brooklyn. We've known him pretty much since the beginning of the band. He's done every album cover for us, and at this point now, I feel like his visuals are pretty equally as important to our albums as the music. It's seems like it gives people a way to kind of make a iconic visualization, kind of pairing the music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. Now tell us about the tour that you're bringing to Australia. Have you got anything special planned or prepared?
We're always just trying to, I think every tour, regardless of what it is, we're always trying to kind of spread our wings a little bit and do something to push our boundaries a little bit as musicians and performers. So, nothing, we're not bringing any kind of crazy set piece or crazy production or anything like that, but we don't get to go there as often as we like. So when we do, we really like to play material that we didn't get a chance to play previously. Play new music, but I think just as far as I don't know, it's always a tough question to answer. I mean, we're really just we're trying to always just be ourselves, and I think whether you see us 5 years ago or now, it's kind of a similar thing where I think you're just seeing people playing music passionately, and that's kind of what we try to do as much as possible. But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so there's not going to be any Motley Crue style drums on the roller coaster or in the drum cage where they're spinning upside down Tommy Lee style or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think we have the budget for that this time. Maybe some type of fire-breathing robotic dragon. That'll be
cool.
It's all on the list of wants.
All right, so now here's a good question for you. So Circa Survive have been going since at least 2005's Jeturna. So no doubt there were many years of small tours and Tuesday nights in very sweaty and beer-soaked rehearsal rooms. So I asked a similar question of Skylar Croom from He Is Legend, but here's my question for you. What's it going to take to bring your music and greater awareness of your music to a larger audience, do you think?
I don't know. Honestly, we have a pretty weird history. Because we were all in bands previously, and because for whatever reason, when we first released our, Jeturna, we we're just kind of lucky in that there was some kind of like buzz happening a little bit. The music industry was much different back then. People were still actively buying music.
Yeah.
And I think it was just it was a lot easier to kind of create this bottleneck situation where a release isn't out yet. People are really excited. There was just like I don't know, for whatever reason, it was the right time, right place kind of thing for us. So pretty much right out of the gate, we started having interesting tour success where, we'd be the opener on a 4-band bill playing first for $100, and somehow we would like outsell the other bands in merch, or people would like leave after we played, and like crazy stuff like that was happening right out of the gate. And then I'd say like within a year of us touring, we were consistently kind of moving up on the totem pole on the bills, and I think we did our first headlining tour kind of by accident, because we were out with Emmanuel and Say Anything kind of like had to cancel the whole tour. So we had this choice of, do we keep going, or do we try to get another tour to open for? And essentially we just decided to keep going and wound up headlining the tour, and it wound up doing really well. And so for us, like, it's been like this steady climb of like all the way to now. I mean, it's kind of nuts to say this, but like for us, mostly in the States, is where I measure a lot of it, because it's just, for whatever reason, that's where we've had the most success, and where it's easy to see the trajectory. But we're playing in front of more people now. We headline in front of more people now than we ever did, and it's not because we're selling more records than ever. Records don't really even mean anything anymore. It seems like it's just kind of like between streaming and pirating and whatever else, it just seems like you can't really gauge your exposure in that way. So for us, I don't think we're ever looking to, jump to that next level per se. Like, we're pretty comfortable with where we are. Like, it would be awesome to be bigger, say, in Australia and other countries, because it would be, I think it would enable us to go to those places more often. But, every promoter, every like label person that we work with internationally, they've tried like everything they can possibly try, and I think that's just the way it is. Like, I think if we ever do wind up having some major success or like weird like thing where we blow up in another country, it'll just be random and based on like timing, being at the right place at the right time, kind of like it was in the beginning of our career. Like, I don't think any like radio play or video or whatever else is going to do it for us. We're just not that kind of band where, you really need to kind of sit down and let us crawl inside of your brain for a while to fall in love with us, I think.
You've toured with some cracking artists, so just a quick roll call of some of them: My Chemical Romance, Coheed and Cambria, and 30 Seconds to Mars. So which tour stands out for you as seminal? So the tour that really helped the band achieve success?
I don't know. I mean, so many over the years. I think probably we've toured more with Coheed and Thrice than probably any two bands. We've toured with all of them in multiple countries. We've toured with them in the States, and we recently just did a co-headliner with Thrice as well. And I'd say, like, one that definitely sticks out is the first time we supported Coheed in the United States, right around Blue Sky Noise era. I think that definitely helped us a bit, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of the a lot of the early years stuff, like with the first time Dredge took us out, or the first time Saves the Day took us out. When we were really, really in the early years, like I think like All Letting Go era, or even Juturna era. Those bands kind of all not only just like as far as exposing us to their fan bases, but I think kind of showing us the ropes of how you act as a headlining band, what the right how you treat the other bands that you're touring with. So I think all those bands had like different impacts on us.
Yeah, cool. All right. So 2010, you recorded Blue Sky Noise, and that was with the producer Dave Bottrill, who's done all sorts of things, including Tool, Muse, and Dream Theater, to name just a few. What was your experience like working with Dave?
Oh man, Dave's great. That was just like a really amazing time. It was very, felt like a dream in a lot of ways, because we worshipped a bunch of the records that he's made, and I feel like that was kind of an end of an era in a lot of ways, like for major labels around that time. These days they're really not giving big budgets to indie bands, and they're certainly not like signing bands with just where we were in our career at that point. I think we managed to get through the door before it closed on like those really kind of like funny fantasy cliche major label deals. And like when they asked us who we wanted to be our producer, like he was definitely really, really at the top. So being able to land him as a producer was like, wow, very intimidating and awesome. But then meeting him, he's just like the most polite and like soft-spoken and very like thoughtful. We were kind of used to get it. We were like Brian McTernan is a really great friend of the band, and also like produced our first 2 albums. And he was like kind of a drill sergeant in a lot of ways, like totally brutal on us, and very like he taught us a ton of stuff as well, but like just a totally different style of production and teaching. And Dave was very like just very like soft approach, which is nice, and especially going into a situation where I think normally a lot of people would feel immense pressure. He was able to make it just really enjoyable, and told us so many amazing stories about various artists that he's worked with over the years that we all look up to. So that's always kind of like a plus when you work with a legendary producer like that.
What was the most interesting story that he shared with you?
I think that record came out amazing. I think just hearing him refer to like Peter Gabriel as Peter, and just talk to like he's just some normal guy that he was doing stuff with, and it's like, what are you talking about? But like, he would just give us these weird anecdotes about Peter Gabriel or the guys from Tool, or guys from King Crimson. Like he just had all these really amazing. I guess they would be more like just everyday kind of like boring stories, but to us, just the fact that they were like, he's telling us some story about, getting coffee with, fucking Maynard or something. You're just like, kind of dumbstruck and like feeling like, how are we making an album with this guy? This is nuts.
Yeah. That's
just really. He actually came out to our last show out in Toronto, and it was awesome to see him.
Yeah, cool. Mate, that's it for me. I really want to thank you for the chat. Hopefully we can catch up when you come down here. I think you're touring in May. I think they're the dates, aren't they? You're touring around major capital cities in Australia in May. So I'll probably be at the Brisbane show, mate. So if we don't catch up, I'll throw the horns up and say, hey, remember me? We had a chat on the phone quickly. That sort of thing. So, but, congratulations on a wonderful career to date, too. I mean, you're an excellent band, and I really hope that you guys go on to bigger and better things.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and that was my conversation with Colin Frangicetto from the band Circa Survive. Thank you so much for listening.